3 true horror stories of new houses harboring unsettling secrets. These stories remind us that sometimes the walls we choose to reside within hold whispers of the past, echoes of tragedy, and perhaps something even more sinister. Before starting these horror stories, please like this video, tell us in the comments which story you liked, and subscribe our YouTube channel for more horror stories. Story number 1. John Smith pulled the rusty iron gate open with a groan, its ancient hinges protesting the intrusion. Behind it, bathed in the twilight's dying breath, sat Whisperhaven, a monstrosity of a Victorian mansion perched precariously on a craggy cliff overlooking the churning Pacific. He glanced at his wife, Sarah, her eyes mirroring his trepidation as they ascended the weed-choked path. Whisperhaven had whispered its way into their lives through a serendipitous inheritance, a grand, isolated retreat seemingly perfect for John's writing career. But upon arrival, the mansion seemed to pulsate with a palpable unease. The skeletal trees clawed at the wind, whispering secrets to the unheated windows. The air itself tasted stale, like the breath of a decaying past. Inside, the house was a mausoleum of shadows and dust. Cobwebs draped the chandeliers like macabre tapestries. Portraits with faded eyes leered from cracked frames, their whispers seeming to echo in the cavernous halls. John, fueled by curiosity and a writer's morbid hunger, felt a thrill. Sarah, however, felt only a growing unease that gnawed at her like a phantom chill. That night, the whispers began. At first, faint and indistinguishable, weaving through the cracks in the walls beneath the floorboards. But as the nights bled into weeks, they grew clearer, forming words, voices, pleas lost to time. John, consumed by his writing, found a morbid allure in them, transcribing their secrets into chilling prose. Sarah, however, grew pale and gaunt, her sleep ravaged by nightmares she couldn't describe. One stormy night, as John hunched over his desk, scribbling furiously, the whispers crescendoed. They filled the room, a cacophony of despair and rage. Sarah, driven to the breaking point, screamed, but her voice was drowned out by the storm and the voices. Then, a new voice, distinct and chilling, rose above the din. It spoke of a darkness trapped within the walls, yearning for release. Panic seized John. He grabbed Sarah, the whispers clinging to them like tendrils. He ran through halls that seemed to stretch and twist, doors slamming shut behind them. Finally, they burst out into the storm, the icy rain a balm on their burning skin. The house loomed behind them, a black silhouette against the lightning-lit sky, the windows glowing with an unholy fire. As dawn painted the sky, they sat huddled in their car, shivering and numb. John, the thrill long gone, stared at the silent mansion, its secrets buried once more. Sarah, her eyes dull with terror, whispered, "Never go back, John. Whispers can become screams." And so, John and Sarah left Whisperhaven behind, its whispers fading into the relentless howl of the Pacific wind. They built a new life, the shadows of Whisperhaven always lurking at the edges of their memories. Yet sometimes on quiet nights, they swear they can hear the faintest whisper, a chilling reminder of the darkness they barely escaped, the darkness that still waits, locked within the whispering walls of Whisperhaven. Story number 2. The sea air hung heavy around Whisperhaven, a brackish shroud for the secrets it contained. John Smith, his breath misting in the twilight, squinted at the looming Victorian monolith that awaited them. His wife, Sarah, clutched his hand, her fingers icy despite the late summer heat. They had inherited Whisperhaven, a grand and isolated retreat perched on a craggy cliff overlooking the churning Pacific, a serendipitous windfall that promised John peace for his writing, and Sarah a haven from the city's relentless clamor. But even from afar, the mansion exuded an unsettling aura, its skeletal trees clawing at the wind, whispering unseen secrets to the vacant windows. Inside, Whisperhaven unfolded like a forgotten nightmare. Dust motes danced in shafts of dying sunlight, illuminating cobwebs that draped the chandeliers like macabre tapestries. portraits with spectral eyes leered from cracked frames, their lips seemingly poised to form silent screams. The air itself carried a palpable weight, the scent of decay and forgotten memories clinging to every surface. John, with the insatiable curiosity of a writer drawn to the macabre, felt a thrill course through him. He wandered through cavernous halls, his footsteps echoing on polished wood floors, the whispers swirling around him like unseen wisps of smoke. Sarah, however, felt a different chill creep into her bones, a primal fear that gnawed at her like a phantom current. Sleep became a stranger, haunted by nightmares she couldn't decipher, the echo of voices just beyond her grasp. The nights were the worst. As the moon ascended, painting the mansion in an eerie silver glow, the whispers would crescendo. They slithered through cracks in the walls, surged up from floorboards, their unseen tongues weaving tales of sorrow and madness. John, fueled by a morbid fascination, transcribed their secrets into chilling prose, his own fear a twisted muse. Sarah, however, grew wan and hollow, her eyes haunted by shadows she couldn't outrun. One tempestuous night, the whispers broke their tethers. They rose in a tidal wave of sound, drowning out the wind's howl, filling the room with a cacophony of despair and rage. Sarah, her sanity at a precipice, screamed, but her voice was lost in the storm and the din. Then, above the storm's fury, a new voice arose, distinct and chilling. It spoke of a darkness trapped within the walls, a festering entity desperate for release. Panic clawed at John's throat. He grabbed Sarah, their bodies slick with cold sweat, and fled. The hallways seemed to contort, doors slamming shut behind them, their escape route a shifting maze. Finally, they burst into the storm, the icy rain a welcome shock against the terror that clung to them. Dawn found them huddled in their car, trembling wrecks clinging to the fragile sanity that remained. The mansion loomed across the churning waves, a dark silhouette against the sun-streaked sky, its windows glinting with an unholy fire. As they fled, John cast one last glance at Whisperhaven, a silent oath escaping his lips. Never again. Sarah, her voice barely a whisper, echoed his vow, adding, "The whispers become screams, John. Always." Years passed, and John and Sarah built a new life, a fortress against the encroaching shadows of Whisperhaven. Yet, sometimes, on nights when the wind howled like a tormented soul, they swear they hear it again. The faintest whisper, a chilling reminder of the darkness they barely escaped, and the secrets that still wait locked within the whispering walls of Whisperhaven. Story number 3. Liam Smith squeezed Mary Elizabeth's hand as they pulled up to the curb, the Victorian behemoth looming over them like a petrified giant slumbering in the twilight. "Welcome home, love," he said, his voice laced with a nervous smile. Mary, ever the stoic one, squeezed back, her emerald eyes scanning the grimy facade. 117 Elm Street, their new abode in the heart of Brooklyn, had an air of melancholic grandeur, its peeling paint and overgrown ivy suggesting secrets whispered on the wind. The realtor, a wispy woman named Edith with a perpetual nervous tic, hurried them inside. The air hung heavy with dust and damp, the silence broken only by the creak of floorboards under their hesitant steps. Liam felt a shiver crawl up his spine as he imagined echoes of laughter and arguments bouncing off the high vaulted ceilings, ghosts of lives long faded. Edith gestured to the grand staircase. "And here's the pièce de résistance, the master suite." The room was enormous, its wallpaper faded floral, the bed a vast four-poster shrouded in dust sheets. As Liam pulled them back, a chill slithered through the room, goosebumps erupting on Mary's arms. A whisper, like rustling leaves, seemed to brush past them, a wordless sigh that lingered in the air. Days turned into weeks, and an uneasy feeling settled over the Smiths. Doors creaked open on their own, shadows flickered from unseen corners, and whispers like the rustle of dry leaves followed them through the cavernous halls. Each morning, Mary found their carefully arranged furniture shifted slightly, books askew, vases tilted on the mantelpiece. Liam tried to brush it off as their overactive imaginations, but the unease gnawed at him. One stormy night, Liam awoke to a blood-curdling scream. Rushing to Mary's side, he found her trembling, eyes wide with terror. "Did you hear it?" she gasped. "A woman's voice, crying, upstairs!" Liam, heart pounding, grabbed a flashlight and crept up the groaning stairs. The air grew colder with each step, and the whispers intensified, a chorus of mournful voices. In the nursery, the source of the cries became clear. A spectral figure, a woman in a tattered white dress, stood cradling an empty rocking chair. Her tear-streaked face twisted in anguish, her sobs echoing through the room. Liam, frozen in fear, watched as the woman turned, her eyes hollow pits of despair. Her lips moved, forming a silent plea, a wordless message that pierced his soul. Mary's screams brought him back to reality. He fled the nursery, pulling Mary down the stairs, the whispers swirling around them, a chilling symphony of grief and despair. In the safety of their living room, huddled together like shipwreck survivors, they vowed to leave. This house, with its secrets and sorrows, wasn't their home. Weeks later, the house on Elm Street stood empty, a grim sentinel on the block. The realtor, Edith, had long disappeared, and whispers swirled among the neighbors about a young couple driven mad by the ghosts within. But sometimes on windy nights, a faint rocking sound could be heard echoing from the nursery, and whispers like rustling leaves carried a message on the wind, a tale of a forgotten tragedy and a house eternally haunted by the echoes of the past. Liam and Mary moved on, carrying the scars of their brush with the supernatural. The memory of the ghost in the nursery, the chilling whispers, and the bottomless despair in her eyes became a chilling reminder of the unseen world that sometimes coexists with our own, waiting to be heard, or perhaps forever unheard, locked in the silent chambers of a haunted house. Our horror stories are over. Please like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more horror stories. Thanks for watching.